Okay.
They're like,
So look, I'm starting today's. I know you wanted to wait until lunch was here, but I have a somewhat lunch-themed picture.
lunch-themed picture.
This is me before I was old and fat.
Oh, on the
This is this guy here. He died of cancer. He cleaned out 3 Mile Island after it melted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He was in the center waiting for his check.
And you photobombed them.
But does that kind of look like a couple of cartoon characters that are on MTV?
MTV.
Like Bob's Burgers.
Are they a little bit Beavis and Butthead kind of looking?
Let me see. Bob's Burgers.
I would say maybe more Bob's Burgers.
Okay, I'll take that. I always thought it made me look like Beavis and Butthead.
No, Bob's Burgers.
I would say Bob's Burgers
Yeah,
is
I'm
more
with that,
accurate.
too.
You know what? Talk about Bob's Burgers. You know what? I love that show.
We watch it all the time.
But why on earth did he do the Arby's commercials?
I don't know. I haven't seen the Arby's commercial. I don't have cable, so I don't know what.
Wait, what
I don't
happened?
know what the commercials are.
The guy that does the voice of Bob in Bob's Burgers is the guy that does the Arby's commercials.
Right.
But his look is completely different.
Oh
from
yeah, he
mine.
doesn't look at all like this. The
And-
voice is like a short little dude, and he's got like the scruffy
Yeah,
beard.
and
The voice.
he's
The voice
doing
of Bob's
commercials for a place
I watch
that
Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, but the
doesn't
voice.
have hamburgers at all.
Right.
Okay.
Oh,
The
okay.
voice of.
So
Bob.
these pictures, look at these pictures here. Here, I'll split them up.
All right, what am I looking at?
These are me before I got fat and old. Actually, I
Are
was.
you on the bike?
And
40
this is
years
how
old.
I get no work done.
Oh, stop! You got a minute.
I know.
That was when I turned 40. I'm in the 40 plus class. But that was a AMA
You
sanctioned.
look like Bob from Bob's Burgers. You
No,
do.
no.
Look at
Yeah.
Get closer.
So that was from an AMA sanctioned race at Englishtown, and I was in the 40 plus class, and I was just 40, and I'm thinking, man, I'll do all right, but
No.
I qualified. But when it's set up for the race, and you can see me at the starting line, right,
Mm-hmm.
and then you see me pushing it away and looking at the people that are riding.
Was this your puppy?
Uh-huh.
Did you have a puppy?
No, that's somebody else's dog. But
So you qualified, but you didn't race in the race?
well, it was weird what happened. You know,
Was it the bike?
I was sitting there, and you know the gates come up,
All right.
and you're revving it up, and you're ready, waiting for the gate to drop.
Right.
So while we're all doing that, and I'm in gear, I realized that my goggles were on the top of my helmet.
Okay.
So like an idiot, I took my hands off, dropped the clutch, installed the bike,
And then they went.
put my goggles down, and then I'm sitting there trying to start the bike, and it wouldn't start.
Start.
Well, I always say this. Look, right before the race, I'm like, because listen, it was treacherous. I mean, it's one of the hardest tracks on in the series for for professional riders.
Okay.
And I had never really raced in a race before. I used to race when I was a kid, but
Right.
not actual race. I used to race around with people that would
Yeah.
go to these races and be in them. But the I never experienced that, man. Now I know why people have chest protectors. Because when you're behind a bike and it's throwing clods of mud and hitting you in the
hurts.
chest, it hurts.
Yeah. It hurts.
So I'm sitting there and I've already experienced qualifying and I'm revving it up and I'm like, Lord, please, whatever it takes, get me through this safe.
And that's what it was.
And the bike stalled out.
There you go. 'Cause you were gonna break something. That's what happened.
So
You were definitely gonna break.
that's where that's at. So, all right. So I started talking about. Reba was talking about children not listening,
Yes.
and I started a story
Look at this.
about
This is more.
my childhood
These are
and
more.
how I used to burn rats.
Not invited to the party?
Sure.
Stop a
You
chair.
had to pull up a chair.
I'll find one. I'll find one.
I need these.
So anyway, We used to catch rats.
Uh-huh.
We used to catch everything.
Okay.
At least back then, we were catching things in have-a-heart traps, so we could release them, except for the rats. So I had this 5-gallon can that I took from some factory and I knew it had some like glue in it.
Okay.
So I stuck the rat in the hole so it would get stuck in the glue, and we were watching it. So then I thought it would be interesting if I dropped a match in there. So while I was looking down at the rat stuck in the glue in the bottom of the thing, I dropped the match in and it went whoosh.
Of course. Because that's
Blew
what
my hair
happens.
back, right? It burned off all my eyebrows, my eyelashes, and the front of my hair. And my skin was kind of, reddish from it. So we're freaking out, me and my brother. And this is early on a Saturday
Oh
morning.
my God.
So we go into the house, and I go into the bathroom and get makeup. And I drew eyebrows.
On yourself?
I drew eyebrows on to try to hide it. So
You got any pictures of this?
Oh my God.
So I'm laying on the floor. My house had heat pipes that ran through the floor, so it was really cool to lay on the floor. It was warm.
Yeah.
So we'd lay on the floor and watch TV. So I'm watching Saturday morning cartoons.
Look at that. Oh my God.
So my mom
brown on eyebrows.
comes out, and I'm just sitting there until finally she looked down and goes,
What is
the-
on your face?
"What is wrong with you?"
It's a Diet Cherry Pepsi.
So I didn't remember if I told her what happened or
Oh
my
my
brother.
God.
It was probably my brother said, "Oh, he was burning rats" or whatever. But
Oh my God.
so listen, it gets worse.
How
So
could it get worse? You burned your face.
Monday I go to school, and the teacher asked me what happened,
Right.
and I had to. So I stood in front of the class.
She made you stand in front of the
No,
class.
listen,
Your teacher?
and told everybody that I was cutting the lawn, and the lawnmower blew up. The problem was my mom worked at school. So the teacher
Oh my God. So teacher told your
talks
mom,
to my
like,
mom,
and she's like, no, that's not what happened.
my mom told the teacher what really happened. So then I had to stand in front of the class and
and
told them
apologize for lying.
that I was lying at what really happened. So it was a lesson for the class not to play with matches.
Oh my God.
But maybe it should have been
That's
not to burn rats. I don't know.
Yeah, that's funny.
It was just one of those life experiences.
You know what I used to do? We never caught them because obviously we don't really catch them. But in DR, tarantulas, they dig in the ground. They leave these little holes. Well, if you fill it up with water, they come up, right? And then you stick a stick on the side, and you just heave it, and that freaking tarantula goes flying.
Tarantula
And
go flying.
We would just do it over and over and over. We'd sit there with a pitcher and pour until we saw a little head come up, and then you wham and see how far it could fly.
That sounds fun.
It is fun, let me tell
Well,
you.
I will say this: at least in both cases, we were killing
Vermin. Undesirable creatures.
undesirable creatures.
I agree with you. I agree.
It's
I
not like
agree.
we were killing puppies. so.
Yeah, right? Little kittens. No. Yeah, tarantulas. That was kind of.
We were, in a sense, exterminators.
There you go.
Yeah, my stories have to do with bees. And
Bees?
hoses. Yeah, I was smart enough not to try and fire, get that the flamethrower and, like the hairspray. No, with hoses, but they always, you would hit the nest where they're at, but then they'd always end up chasing you,
Yeah,
Yeah, I never did
that's
that.
why you burn them.
Yeah, but then you
That's
burn
why
the
you
house.
fire.
Usually, like they make like in the cinder blocks
On
in the
the-
open
yeah,
areas.
on- yeah,
I was smart enough not to burn the houses down.
Not me. Not me.
Well, I love the story of your oldest one teaching your little one the F
Oh,
word.
yeah, I don't. That girl was too much, let me tell you. Way too much.
You look, you know, when people like when something happens and something is like, you know, like vandalized or something like that,
Right.
and people will say, "I don't understand. What would make somebody do something like
Fun. Fun makes people do things like that.
that?" I did a lot of things like that. I didn't have a reason.
Peer pressure makes people do things like that.
You don't have a reason. It's
No.
just like, hey, it's there.
This
I'm going
sounds
to.
like a fun idea. Let's try this. And if nobody gets hurt, guess what? We're doing it again.
I'm not even giving away what we used to do. Because my mother is friends on that podcast.
Oh, who cares? You're a grown up now.
Yeah,
Should I tie?
you're beyond that.
I apologize to my mom every day.
I just bit my tongue.
Food must be good.
I
Or
bit
you
my
must be
tongue
hungry.
on crushed up
Tater tots.
tater
I
tots,
threw mine right in the garbage. And got potato chips.
but they still have the same flavor.
They're crushed. It's weird.
It's weird.
One of the things I learned as a teenager is you don't light fires on concrete.
Oh, I did that
See,
once.
I never did yours, guys.
Did it explode?
No, I only lit a little fire. My grandfather had like a little shed thing made of concrete in the back, and I snuck some of his matches, and I went to the back, and there was like other people, there were friends and stuff, and I took a little pile of stuff and I put it together and I lit it. And as soon as it got like red, I was like, ah!
I was a good child compared to you.
Oh yeah.
We used to hang out on this loading dock.
And I was quiet, so I never got in trouble for stuff because nobody ever expected me to be doing it. Because I was, Mary
Easy
Louise,
to blame on somebody
no.
else.
She's so quiet, she doesn't do anything.
See, it was the opposite for me because every time something happened in my house,
It was you.
It was me.
It must have been Mark. It had to be.
So when it wasn't, I made sure everybody knew.
It wasn't.
How dare you? But in almost every case.
But usually.
So anyway, we used to sit on this loading dock and we had a fire going. And I never knew this before. But it was on the concrete. So I'm bending over tending to the fire and all of a sudden it exploded.
The concrete.
The moisture in the concrete got so hot and it couldn't escape that it exploded and put a big,
Really?
yeah, blew my
I
mind.
didn't know that.
That was back where back by the railroad tracks where we used to go back, and when the train cars were all there, we used to turn the brakes off and they would roll down.
Oh my gosh. You were bad.
The other thing too, there was this like a big commercial industrial kind of beer distributor place that where they supply for. So all of there was a caged in area where they would keep beer. And the reason why they would keep the beer out there was because it was no good, it was stale.
Oh, okay.
So you drank.
And you guys drank
So
this
it was easy to steal.
I wonder why.
So yeah,
Nobody wanted it.
we used to steal. You know, you're 13 years old. You know.
You don't know any better.
Yeah, one time.
It's beer.
As far
It's
as I
supposed to
knew,
taste bad.
as far as I knew, that's what beer tastes
Yeah,
like. Huh?
Exactly, right? It's beer. It's supposed to taste
One
bad.
time, I
Skunk
was like
beer.
13 or 14. My friends came over. My mom had gin and strawberry daiquiri mix in her wherever she kept
Yeah.
liquor, right? So we mixed the gin and the strawberry daiquiri, all my friends, and we mixed it. We drank it all. So now I'm thinking, good addict behavior. Oh no, we drank all the strawberry daiquiri mix. What to do? I opened up a red packet of Jell-O, jumped it in the bottle,
No,
shook
you
it, let it settle,
didn't.
and put it back in the cover.
Oh my god.
Well, didn't it turn into Jello?
Well, no, it
No,
won't.
because
turn
it wasn't
into
cold.
Jello. No, it's you
I
have
don't
to
know,
heat it
I
up
thought-
first, and then it'll solidify.
Gets
That
Jello
always takes me back to
Gotcha, dear.
towards the end of my run. Like I would go to people's houses and empty out their. You know, I always had a bottle of soda, which wasn't soda. So I'd pour all their,
Liquor,
most of the
whatever.
time, clear liquor, and then fill it back up with water.
I think we all done that at one time or another.
So that doesn't.
No, I never stole from my parents' liquor. They had weird stuff like schnapps.
I don't
and,
care what it
like-
was.
I was never a big
As
drinker.
long as
so I
it had
wasn't-
alcohol in it.
So the biggest part of this, right, that where I did this, right?
Not one of
So
Not with alcohol, at least.
I'm heavily into my addiction. If I don't drink, I get sick, shake,
Okay.
bad. Like
8
really bad.
p.m.
Yeah.
So I get jury duty.
Uh-oh.
Jury duty on a murder case.
Oh, man, that's a long one.
Jury duty on a murder case where we were sequestered.
Ooh.
So I get in the room. Of course, they put you in a room. It was a nice high-rise hotel
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Philadelphia. It was really a ritzy thing. Well, luckily, I had all my keys from work. A big, giant key thing. So here's the Serby bar. I sat there with all my, because I was going to get sick, man. I tell you, there's no way I would have been able to make it. I go through all my keys until the door opens up. I emptied everything in there that was clear into a cup and then filled it back up with water and put them back in. Somebody down the road, when they went to use
Like,
that
ooh,
Serby bar,
tequila.
what is this? I ain't paying for this. Ugh. So anyway, that guy. Here's
So anyway.
and here's some more to that story.
Uh-oh.
Did you
So,
serve on the jury?
In my list, yeah, and it was he didn't get first degree murder. He got like third degree murder or something like that because we just felt that something. I just wanted to get out of there personally. So years later, neighborhood I grew up in, a lot of cops lived there. Right, my friend's father was like chief inspector, and the other father, somebody else's father, and they hated him. So the other cops all lived in the same neighborhood as the chief inspector. He's the guy that looks for corruption
Right.
in the police.
Yeah.
Right? But we had a party at my buddy's house, and his dad had all his friends there, and the DA that was on that case was there and recognized me. And he asked me, he says, how did you come to that conclusion, right? I says, I don't know, I just wanted to get out.
I was tired.
He said, let me tell you, he says, that guy was guilty, man. He was really guilty. That was premeditated first degree murder. Think about that when you're watching court cases.
Yeah, right?
I just watched the Ted Bundy Chronicles. They're so good.
I was
Do
watching
you remember when Ted Bundy got electrocuted?
the Aaron Rodgers one I was watching.
Yeah, Hernandez.
Hernandez.
Yeah, I watched that one too. I watched all of that one. And then Ted Bundy after. Do you
Aaron
remember
Rodgers
when
got arrested?
Aaron Rodgers.
Hernandez? Aaron.
I'm confused. I was thinking about
Did you watch the Ted Bundy execution on TV?
Jesus.
They said it was all on TV, and that people partied outside the Florida State Prison.
Did anybody see Pennsylvania State Treasurer shoot himself in the head
no
No.
on live TV
on live TV.
in class?
When was this?
Oh my god.
In class.
Yeah, that was early 80s. No, late 70s, mid 70s, I think it was. I wasn't in class then. But anyway, a lot of schools had it on when it was going on, and
And it was freaked live. Oh my god. Oh my god.
but a lot of people watched that
I
live.
probably skipped that class.
Most likely wasn't there. You know.
Well, wait. How old were you then?
Open it up.
What?
Look it up.
When were you born?
I'm trying to remember his name.
You were born in 58? No, my dad's 59, so you're 61.
He was born on May 17th.
60.
Oh, you're right.
Well, I know his day. I don't know the year. Outreach coordinator.
I think the guy's last name is Dwyer.
That's crazy.
Well, I can't look it up on my phone because I'm recording.
How to win claims for chronic headache.
Nobody
You do-
cares.
You do not need that down the center.
Bud
Recording?
Dwyer.
What are we recording?
Look it up, Bud Dwyer. Recording my face pod.
And we're
Your
deleting
face
the other
pod?
one.
Mm-hmm.
Who am I looking up? Bud Dwyer.
Yeah.
Robert Bud Dwyer was the 30th state treasurer of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. He served from 1965 to 71 as a Republican member.
Maybe it was. I was in school then. If it was 71, I was 11.
In January 1987,
Oh no.
R. Bud Dwyer's. Well, that's when I was born. January 15th, 87.
Watch the video.
Maybe you're him and reincarnated.
Hit the video. See if it shows him shooting himself.
In January.
You could probably see it on. Remember that those VHS tapes? There was some Faces of Death.
Yeah.
Wait, let's read it. R. Bud Dwyer and the death of an honest man. Convicted politician
Don't know why
televised
she wouldn't hit the
suicide
video.
haunts us not because
She
he was
afraid?
guilty of his crimes, but because he was innocent. Wait, so they were accusing him of something?
Mm-hmm.
No, it was January 22nd. I was born 15th. R. Bud Dwyer warning others to stay back just some seconds before fatally shooting himself in front of television cameras. What were they accusing him of?
Stealing. It was a treasure. Anyway.
He thought he did it himself too.
No, because he didn't do it, it says.
That was our
He thought
lunch.
He did. They've got me.
We had dry,
Bribery.
like air dried or fish sandwiches, and smushed up
Tater tots.
tater tots with our conversation.
Squarefish.
Square fish.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Dwyer's will put her panties. Oh no, it will let you see it.
No, I don't want to see
I
it.
don't-
Goodbye.
No,